Partners, welcome to my guest bedroom. Today we are going to do chapter 8 in My Father's Dragon. And the first thing I want you to do is find your My Father's Dragon journal by your name. And you are going to go ahead and trace on the bottom. If I had a magnifying glass, I would look at, and then think of something you would look at. It's probably going to be something pretty small, maybe really tiny, maybe something you can't even see with your eye that you would actually need a magnifying glass for. You're going to write what you would look at, write on these lines, and then you're going to draw it. You're going to draw yourself with a magnifying glass looking at something. Now, I wish I had a magnifying glass, but I don't have one at home. Isn't that funny? I do not have one in this house. I guess these are my magnifying glasses because they make little words bigger so that I can read them better. So that's where you're going to turn off or pause right now and go ahead and do that. Make something tiny that you want to look at with a magnifying glass. And then I'll be back as soon as you're done with that. Okay, so now you've paused it and you've drawn something that you were looking at with your magnifying glass. And I'm going to read chapter 8. Now, I know some of you have already heard this, but a lot of you were sick before we had our spring break. So I'm going to go ahead and read chapter 8, and it's entitled, My Father Meets a Gorilla. And there's the picture. Oh, the boars are back, it looks like. Wild boars. My father was very hungry, so he sat down under a baby banyan tree. On the side of the trail, he ate 4 tangerines. How many tangerines? He wanted to eat 8 or 10, but he had only 13 left, and it might be a long time before he could get more. He packed all of his peels and was about to get up when he heard the familiar voices of the boars. I wouldn't have believed it if it hadn't been for seeing them with my own 2 eyes. But wait and see for yourself. All the tigers are sitting around chewing gum, and the old rhinoceros is so busy brushing his tusk that he doesn't even look around to see who's going by. And they're all so busy they won't even talk to me. Here's the other boar. Horse feathers, said the other boar. Now, very, very close to my father. They'll talk to me. I'm going to get to the bottom of this if it's the last thing I do. The voices passed my father and went around a curve, and he hurried on because he knew how much more upset the boars would be when they saw that lion's mane tied up in hair ribbons. Remember, the lion had a bunch of bristles and things caught into its hair, and the boy helped him by giving him a brush and some ribbons to tie his hair so that he could look very nice when his mother came to visit. The voices passed my father and went around. Before long, my father came to a crossroads and he stopped to read the signs. Straight ahead, an arrow pointed to the beginning of the river. Oh, okay, that's kind of where he started out. To the left, and the ocean rocks, which is where he crossed over. And to the right, the dragon fairy. They're getting closer. My father was reading all the signs when he heard paw steps, and he ducked behind the signpost. He's hiding. A beautiful lioness paraded past and turned down towards the clearing. I think you know who that is, coming to see her lion son. Although she could have seen my father if she had bothered to glance at the post, she was much too occupied, looking dignified, to see anything but the tip of her nose. It was the lion's mother, of course, and that thought rang true to my father. That means that the dragon was on the other side of the river, on their side. He hurried on, but it was farther away than he had judged. He finally came to the river bank. in the late afternoon and he looked all around, but there was no dragon anywhere in sight. He must have gone back to the other side. I'm going to stop for a second and show you the lioness. Very beautiful lioness. And there's the sign that points in directions of where you can go to find the things. Let's see which one says the Dragon Fairy. Right there, it says the Dragon Fairy. So that's the way. He knows how to get there now. My father sat down under a palm tree and was trying to have a good idea when something big and black and hairy jumped out of from behind the trees and landed with a loud crash at his feet. Well, he said in a huge voice, and this is what jumped out. There's the gorilla. Pretty big when you compare him to the size of the boy. Well, what? Said my father, for which he was sorry when he looked up and he discovered it was a fierce and enormous gorilla. Well, explain yourself, said the gorilla. I'll give you until 10 to tell me your name, your business, and your age, and what's in your pack. And he began counting to 10 as fast as he could. My father didn't even have time to say Elmer Elevator Explorer before the gorilla interrupted. Too slow! I'm going to twist your hand all the way, just like I twist the dragon's wings. Oh, that's how they keep the dragon there. If you can't hurry up just one little bit. And he grabbed my father's hand and started to twist. But he dropped his hand then. He said, blast those fleas, he raged. They won't give me a moment of peace, and the worst of it all is that you can't even get a good look at them. Rosie, Rondell, Rachel, Ruby, Roberta, come here and get rid of these fleas on my chest. It's driving me crazy. The 6 little monkeys tumbled out of the tree. They dashed to the gorilla and they began combing the hair on his chest. Well, said the gorilla, is it still there? We're looking, said the 6 little monkeys, but they're awfully hard to see, you know. So we just learned that the gorilla has fleas on his chest, and he has some friends to help him, doesn't he, to try to find those fleas. But fleas are very tiny, aren't they? Ha, there's a little hint. I know, said the gorilla, but hurry, I've got work to do. And he winked at my father. Oh, gorilla, said my father, in my knapsack, which is a backpack, I have 6 magnifying glasses. They'd be just the thing for hunting fleas. My father unpacked them and gave one to Rosie, one to Rhonda, one to Rachel, one to Ruthie, one to Ruby, and one to Roberta. There's all 6. Why, they're miraculous, said the 6 little monkeys. It's easy to see the fleas now, only there are hundreds of them. And they went on hunting frantically. Such a funny picture. Can you imagine? This is a great story. Someone's really using their imagination. A moment later, many more monkeys appeared out of a nearby clump of mangroves and began crowding around to get a good look at the fleas through the magnifying glasses. They completely surrounded the gorilla, and he could not have seen my father, nor did he remember to twist his hand. And there's a picture of what they were looking at. I wonder if you found something tiny underneath your magnifying glass. I bet you did. All right, our next chapter is chapter 9, and it says, My father makes a bridge. I wonder what you could make a bridge out of. If you had an idea, maybe something big you could make a bridge out of, or something small. Something stretchy or something strong. I don't know what to use. You might think about that because that's going to be on the next lesson. Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed chapter 8.